Hey guys, it's LeBurn98 here. I'm basically going to give you my impressions of the three big companies in E3, which is obviously Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, as well as my impressions of the third-party developers and what kind of content that they're coming out with. So let's basically get on with this. As you can tell, this is Alan Wake, which is a 360 a 360 exclusive, and that's basically my big complaint that I have with the conference, Microsoft conference, is that there wasn't really any new IPs that they showed. Now, granted, when it comes to development studios, Microsoft doesn't have the plethora of studios that people like Sony or Nintendo have. But I mean, it still would be nice to have a few extra new IPs. Now, granted, I mean, with games like Battlefield 3 and all the multiplats that are coming out, there's definitely games to play. And then, of course, you got the tried and true Gears of War, Halo, the Forza series, Fable. So I mean, like they have their good exclusives as well. And most of them are great exclusives. So so they definitely do have content and exclusive content, but it would be nice to have a few new IPs, like Alan Wake. I mean, this was a game released a couple years ago. I can't remember the exact year, but I played this game quite a few times, and it was nice to have a different type of game for Xbox, who, let's face it, is generally known for shooter games like Halo, obviously, and then even Gears of War and games like that. So this is actually a nice surprise. I'm glad it was being made for a long while, but uh, it was a great game, a great experience, and something that Xbox 360 needed. Now, granted, a lot of people didn't buy it, which is kind of a shame because it's a great game. But so, you got to kind of do that with new IPs. You got to also promote them. I mean, Microsoft did not bad promotion for this game. The biggest thing that they did wrong was they released it at the same time as Red Dead Redemption, which is basically committing suicide for your game. So definitely not the greatest thing that Microsoft did for this game, but I mean, it is what it is. So, anyways, if you like a survivor horror type of experience, then you probably are gonna like this game. But anyway, that's enough with that. Let's get on to the conference. So, in a nutshell, I thought it was a good conference. I mean, as far as the actual conference was concerned, it was entertaining. They had some good games on display. Of course, you had the multiplats like, Modern Warfare 3, which, to be honest with you, it looked good. I'll be honest, it looked good, but it didn't wow me like some of the other games, like Tomb Raider. I thought Tomb Raider looked excellent, and I'm not even really a Tomb Raider fan, so I thought that looked great. And I kind of missed the start of it, but I heard there was Skyrim there as well. If it is, I mean, that game looks amazing as well, but I'll get into that when it comes to the third party. And then they show Gears of War 3. They show Ghost Recon with Kinect, as well as Mass Effect 3 with Kinect, which is what I'm talking about when I talked about the Wii in my NHL Slapshot, my very first video, and I was saying I generally do not like motion controls. I don't like motion controls that are forced into a game just for the sake of being forced in. What I want from my motion controls, regardless of what kind of control it is I want to add an experience that adds to it. You know what I mean? It doesn't simply replace a button press, or even makes it worse in the case of like Mario Galaxy, for instance, where if you want a twirl, make Mario do a twirl, you gotta flick through a Wiimote. I mean, I don't really need to do that. But when it comes to like Mass Effect 3, where you could use the Kinect to command your squad and talk out the dialogue, I think that adds an extra bit of immersion that, I mean, I think I would love, I mean, not think, I would love to see games going in that type of route. And then, of course, you got the Ghost Recon, where, you can customize your weapon with voice commands, and I'm sure that there was, going to be commands for your squad as well, and I don't know if they will. This is speculation on my part, but hopefully they have hand movement, so you can tell your squad, breach and clear, or go in there, and so on. But I think that's the direction I would personally like to see Kinect go. And that's not to say I don't want something like maybe Star Wars Kinect, where it just, yes, it's on rails, but it can be fun. I mean, that game kind of reminds me of the arcade Star Wars game you used to see in like a lot of movie theaters. And so that's where I kind of have my interest in that game, as well as it is Star Wars, and I do like Star Wars. So now, will I buy Kinect for that? I don't know. It'll have to be one of those. If the game happens to be really good, and you feel like you're doing all this stuff, then it could be very well be a game I would want and to encourage me to get a Kinect. But I have no problem with those type of games, like the on-rail games, or like even PS3. They're getting a lot of the Wii stuff, like House of the Dead Overkill and Dead Space Extraction. I like those on-rail shooters as well. I mean, it's a different type of game. Sometimes you just want to do that sort of thing. So I thought when it comes to that stuff, I thought it was a good showing of what other stuff you could do with Kinect, rather than the simple full body control on rail stuff. And so yeah, it was pretty cool for that. Then of course you had the kids stuff. I mean, let's face it, it's not for us, but it looked like a good game. I mean, it would look like it'd be a good game if I had kids to buy for a kid. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna like it. And same with Dance Central too. And again, I'm not gonna be dancing like that, but obviously there's people who wouldn't mind that, right? So I mean, again, those games aren't really for me, but I'm sure there's still gonna be good games. And that's kind of what E3 has really become now. Since it's become, games in general have become more popular thanks to the Wii. You have to please all of your audience, not just the core gamers like us, but maybe the casuals or the mainstream or whatever that like games like Dance Central and so on. So anyway, when it comes to the other game, which was Rise, which is the Crytek game, one bit of information that I heard, which was, at first I was kind of concerned, because I don't know if I'm going to get a Kinect right away, or even when it was released. So I thought I would have to skip out on it. Is that you're going to be able to use a controller. Now, the question I have for Crytek would be, can I just use the controller, or do I have to use the controller to maybe move and then use the Kinect for the fighting and stuff? Now granted, I mean, it did look kind of cool, especially the whole 300 kick to the face. I mean, that looked like kind of cool, and let's face it, who doesn't want to at least try that once? I think that'll be pretty sweet. But do I really want to play the whole game like that? I don't know. But again, I don't want to make judgments until I've actually tried it myself. And that's, I think, what a lot of people got to realize with Kinect and these other motion controls, like the Move and well, the Weave has already been out, but is that we shouldn't write it off right away, because all it takes is one good developer to come out with something unique for these devices, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, I get it now. Like, even when it comes to like shooter games, like before the Xbox came out, yeah, there was probably other games. I can't remember if Medal of Honor came out before Halo, but I'm sure there was other games that used the whole dual analog stick thing, and of course there were shooters on like even the N64 and then even Super Nintendo with Doom, and obviously on the N64, which was GoldenEye, one of my all-time favorite games, which actually kind of surprising, was the game that got me into shooter games before I went to PC. And again, like with those games, like no one thought that a shooter would work on a console. But then it takes a game, well, two games. It takes a game like GoldenEye to show that it's possible even with limited controls. But then Halo comes out, and you can criticize Halo all you want, but there's no question, there should be no question in anybody's mind that Halo was a big inspiration for a lot of developers, and basically what started this whole shooter business on the consoles. I mean, a lot of people use the same type of control schemes, as well as the health regeneration and a lot of the stuff that was in Halo, the 2-weapon system and so on. So, but again, back then, we didn't think that would work. I mean, I was a PC gamer myself, and when I heard everybody was raving about Halo, and I'm like, how the hell could you play that? And now here I am now playing shooters on my console. So basically, I don't think we should write off a lot of this stuff just yet, because who knows what a developer is going to do that's going to impress us. Like even like with the Mass Effect stuff, I mean that's just a glimpse of what could be a big potential in something like a Kinect. And then you also have, because I believe they also released a update, and I think it was what was it, Kinect Lab or something like that, Fun Lab or something, which is a free bundle program that was on Xbox Live. They released it after the conference, where they have things like finger tracking. I mean, you can apply that to like an RTS. I mean that could be cool. Because RTSs are one of those. There's two genres that really don't work at the moment, and that's on consoles. I mean, and that's RTS and MMOs. So if you can use something like a finger tracking and work out a great system for that, who knows what could happen. So I think that's basically in a nutshell what I thought of the conference. Now, if I haven't mentioned, I'm basically going to tell you what I'm interested in as far as games are concerned for Microsoft. Obviously, Gears of War 3, definitely day one buy. A Halo Anniversary, close to a day one buy. I don't know if I'm going to get it on day one, but close enough. Definitely getting it. Forza 4, day one buy. And I guess that's basically it for now, for this year. Then Halo 4 in the future, definitely. Rise really depends on how much you need to use Kinect and whether it's implemented well. I'm not going to pass judgment just yet. I'm going to wait and see. And then Fable's another one I'm kind of, And by the way, there's an achievement, yay! And so yeah, that's basically it. So until next time, this is Liberating98 signing off. Up next will be Sony and what I thought of their press conference. Take care, guys. See ya.